Hello, I'm Phil. I'm Managing Partner at Next Intelligence. We're a research technology scale-up based in Toronto, Canada, with team members also in Vancouver, plus myself in London, UK. We've developed an end-to-end conversational survey platform, Inca. And today, I'm going to talk about why surveys need to be conversational. Let's face it, most surveys are boring. If you've ever tried taking many surveys as a respondent, you'll realise just how bad the experience can be. Whilst there's been huge innovation in online qualitative research in recent years, accelerated by the COVID pandemic, the only changes in online quantitative surveys are they become more automated and quicker. And the participant experience has remained largely the same for the last 20 years. Now that needs to change. So today I'm going to talk about conversational surveys, how they work, how they improve the participant experience, and the related benefits they bring to researchers and their stakeholders. I joined Next Intelligence in February this year, having first experienced our conversational AI platform Inca as a client. I was hugely excited by Inca's potential as a client, and I'm even more excited now I'm part of the team. With Inca, we talk about reimagining online quantitative research. That is having conversations with people at scale. This is possible with new technology and AI. We can make surveys conversational, and it brings huge benefits for market researchers' most precious resource of survey participants by providing them with a much more engaging experience. And benefits for researchers by providing them with better quality data and deeper insight, and ultimately benefits for the end users of research because better quality data and better insights mean better decisions can be made to help organisations prosper. So I believe that over the course of the next few years, conversational AI will become the key method that researchers use to collect online survey data. And conversational surveys will replace current survey data collection methods. Fundamentally, there are two issues that the research industry faces which conversational surveys help to solve. Firstly, the issue of declining data quality from online panel studies. If you've attended any market research conference in recent years, read the market research press, or tuned into conversations from researchers in online forums, you'll be aware that this seems to be a significant and growing problem. There are bots, professional respondents, and disinterested respondents, all of which are contributing to this data quality issue. So quite rightly, there's a lot of noise in the market research industry about declining data quality. And I believe there is growing concern from end users of research about the impact that poor data quality has on the validity of the data they're using to make important business decisions. And the market research industry has been taking action. For example, some companies are providing software to try and spot and clean out bots. Online panels have implemented quality checks, for example, to remove respondents who complete the survey too quickly. Yet the problem of poor data quality persists. And what hasn't happened enough is improving the online survey experience. Yes, many businesses are providing hints and tips about how to create better surveys, and there are a few people in the industry who have done great work in improving the survey experience. However, my suspicion is that the majority of surveys that participants are sent have not improved much, if at all, versus 10 or 20 years ago. But think about it. Surely if survey participants had a better, more engaging survey experience, they would pay more attention, think about their answers, and be more consistent in their responses across the survey. So to achieve this, how about rather than tinkering to create better surveys within the existing online survey format, we change the survey altogether? We can do this by making surveys conversational. And as I'll show you today, this brings real benefit for participants, and they respond by providing significantly better quality data and better insights. The second issue that conversational surveys help to solve is bridging the qual-quant divide. Qual and quant have always existed as separate disciplines, addressing different needs and answering different questions. And the majority of agency researchers specialise either as quanties or qualis. So oversimplifying things a bit, of course, but quant is used to answer the what, answers to set questions with robust sample sizes. And qual is used to tell us the why, digging deeper to understand feelings, motivations and emotions, and form new baseline assumptions, but with small sample sizes. As a consequence, many research needs end up being commissioned as two-stage projects, with qual followed by quant, or vice versa. However, what if we could get qualitative understanding at quantitative scale? Well, conversational surveys can help with that by adding a more qualitative layer to quant data, by providing insightful verbatim at scale, allowing us to hear from participants in their own voice, and thus providing a why understanding to add to the what of quant. So let's make surveys conversational. What does a conversational survey look like? Well, imagine that surveys don't look like this. That participants aren't faced with dull design, a series of repetitive scales and big grids of attributes. That surveys don't use that strange research speak, which doesn't reflect how people talk in real life. Unless you're a significantly better person than I am, you're going to speed through survey questions like these. And to mitigate this, some researchers employ trap questions in their surveys to check that people are paying attention and to weed out those who aren't. Like the example here, asking the respondent to select the number from the list. But imagine how that feels to the person answering the survey. It's weird. The consequence of bad surveys, of course, is poor quality data. And that leads to the risk of drawing invalid conclusions and making bad decisions, which totally negates the value of doing research in the first place. So wouldn't a better approach be to create more engaging surveys? Surveys that encourage people to pay attention and think. So imagine that instead of a survey looking like this, it looked more like this. Rather like the experience people have in the time they spend online on their phones through WhatsApp or Messenger conversations. A more natural design that is engaging for people, leads to them paying more attention, and provides better quality data. And imagine that surveys didn't ask opinions like this. When quantitative surveys try and let the participants speak through open-ended questions, often the result is disappointing. In the midst of an overall dull survey experience, an unengaging open-ended question can seem burdensome to people. And many respondents skip through open-ended questions as quickly as possible, giving single-word or uninformative answers. As a result, the open-ended questions fail to give the deeper insight into motivations, feelings, needs, likes and dislikes that the researcher is hoping for. So instead of asking open questions like this, imagine if it could be like this. With a chatbot probing research participants to give more detailed open-ended answers. Or if open-ended questions could be asked using gamification and projective techniques, just like how participants in Qual are probed to deliver greater understanding and insight. These changes are possible if we used better technology. But these changes also require a shift in our mindset. It's about putting the human at the centre, which for market research means making our most precious resource of survey participants feel more valued. Only when we create intuitive, meaningful and delightful experiences for our participants do they become collaborators and co-creators. We converse with our participants, listen and hear their own voice, and in return we receive insights that can truly help build stronger brands and businesses. This shift in our mindset to human at the centre requires us to reframe how we think about the people who take surveys. When market researchers talk about surveys, they talk about respondents. People are asked a question, they give a response, and so are respondents. It's a one-way interaction, which in itself lacks engagement. On the other hand, if we think about conversations, people are participants. This isn't just semantics, it's a big shift in mindset. Think about it. People respond to surveys, but they participate in conversations. And conversations are everything that surveys aren't. They're two-way. Conversations involve listening as much as asking. Conversations can be emotional, surprising, they're often fun, and dare I say it, conversations are insightful. I just showed you a few stills of a chat-based survey, but let's see a demo of what a conversational survey looks like in practice. So here you can see how the chatbot takes people through the survey and how the survey flows more like a WhatsApp conversation than a regular online survey, and that it's highly visual. However, for the chat-based surveys to become truly conversational, we need AI. AI is used to listen to what the participant says and respond with appropriate follow-up questions. There are different ways in which this can be done. Here's an example where the AI follows up with what it considers to be a probe for more information, asking the participant why this iPhone is so cool. You can see how this probing can unlock much richer verbatim from participants. And in this probe, the researchers thought in advance about what topics participants may talk about, and the AI has been programmed to pick up on any mention of design and probe for more details. Now here, instead of a regular open-ended question, a qualitative projective technique called guided fantasy is used. As you see, by asking people to imagine they're on a journey to planet Apple and how it feels, we get richer verbatim than we would if we just ask people what Apple means to them. So just take a moment to pause and reflect on what we've covered so far. Key benefit of conversational surveys is that they allow us to apply 3 key qualitative principles at quantitative scale. And these qualitative principles enable more human-centric design. The first principle I've talked about is participant engagement. Good qual is very focused on building engagement and rapport with participants, and by doing so encourages participants to open up and share more of their thoughts, feelings and attitudes. A good conversational survey is designed to do the same. The second qualitative principle is probing. Probing gives us richer verbatim and deeper insight. Probing also drives engagement as it helps to make people feel like they are taking part in the conversation. Artificial intelligence is used in conversational AI to take the role of the moderator and to probe participants for more insights. The third qualitative principle that we can apply at quantitative scale with conversational survey design is the use of projective techniques, as I've just shown you with the example of guided fantasy. This notion of qual times quant is important when thinking about how to optimise the quality of the open-ended response that research elicits from open-ended questions. A useful tip is that a good designer of a conversational survey will think like a quali rather than a quanti in this regard. So for example, if you'd like to understand more about how your target market with an open-ended question, you could ask, imagine you're creating a social media profile for yourself. What would you say? What makes you you? That's likely to get you better insights than just asking a question such as, please tell me something about yourself and what's important to you. Or if you wanted to know more about consumers' relationships with the brand, I suppose a typical quant survey open-ended question might just ask, please tell me more how you feel about brand X. However, if you're being more creative, you might ask a question like this one. Imagine if you were to make a movie about you and your brand. Over how long a time span would the movie take place? What would be the genre of the movie? Why? What's the story, the key takeaway from the movie you'd like people to receive? And what title would you give to this movie? So conversational surveys' use of open-ended questions, probing and projection has the advantage of generating lots of verbatim data, which brings with it the potential for richer, deeper insight. However, a large quantity of verbatim data also brings a challenge of how to analyse it all. Solving this is also about putting the human at the centre, but this time the researcher rather than the participant. For a researcher to find insights from a large volume of verbatim data with ease and at speed, an onerous process needs to be turned into one that is simple for them. The AI used in conversational AI helps here as well, but we find it is most effective with the human in the loop. To illustrate this, here we see all the verbatims from a conversational survey question about spontaneous associations with iPhone. The AI uses natural language processing to cluster and theme the open-ended responses, essentially providing a quantified summary of the verbatim response. And this enables the researcher to quickly understand the key themes mentioned by participants. And by clicking on any of the themes, the researcher can read the verbatims associated with that theme and find example quotes that help to illustrate the key themes to their stakeholders. If the research requires a perfect code frame, we typically find the AI is good but not perfect. So it's beneficial to put the human in the loop to optimize the AI generated themes. Here we see the researcher is easily renaming the themes generated by the AI. He or she can combine similar themes and can easily move verbatims to different themes if they feel they fit better there. Essentially, the AI does 70 to 80% of the work of generating a quality code frame, and the researcher is in the loop to optimize and create a final code frame that meets their needs. So to wrap up, I'd like to show you some data that validates the impact of conversational surveys. Firstly, we have happier participants who find conversational surveys much better than other, more traditional online surveys. Here you can see that across 5 countries and cultures, the vast majority of participants say that the conversational survey format is a better experience than other surveys they've done, and more than half say that it's a lot better. And the reason is clear when we read the participant feedback about conversational surveys. For example, I feel like I'm talking to a real person to express my thoughts and I'm being heard. The format was like having a conversation. It was unique and fun and engaging. The new format is fun and makes you feel like your opinions matter and are heard. And it sure beats checking off little boxes. Whilst it's great that the human-centric design of conversational surveys delights participants, an even more compelling point for users of research is that the consequence of this is better quality data. This example is from a comparative study in USA, where we took the same survey content and for one cell of people we programmed a regular online survey, and for the other cell of people we programmed a conversational survey. One of the first questions asked people which cell phone brand they own. They were then asked a bunch of other questions before participants were shown a list of 6 cell phone brands and asked to rank their top 3 in order of preference. Our expectation was that for Apple iPhone, given it's such a high equity, high loyalty brand, that the large majority of people who said they owned an iPhone would rank it first. With a conversational survey, this was the case, 92%. However, for the traditional online survey, it was only 58%. And this leads us to think that in the regular survey, there was a fairly large proportion of people not paying attention and just mindlessly clicking to move through the survey. And the impact of better quality data is that researchers can deliver better quality insight for their clients. And that enables them to make better decisions. Here are some things end users of conversational surveys have said about them. The interface is fun, fresh and modern. The conversational language amplifies a positive user experience driving engagement, and the evidence of that is reflected time and time again in high quality and thoughtful responses to open-ended questions, something we don't typically see in traditional surveys, especially amongst youth. I've read the report twice and can't believe the wealth of insight you've uncovered. There was lots of good insight that we'd not typically extract from a regular survey, and the findings enabled us to quickly see and size hidden opportunities to improve and gain competitive edge. So hopefully this talk has helped to persuade you that surveys need to get conversational. If you'd like to know more about how you could use Inca conversational AI platform, well, let's chat. My contact details are here.